Soul Searchers. I'm Indigo Kelly with soulsearchingwithindigokelly.com. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to share with you what shaped my interest in the paranormal, in spirit, and in the divine. As a child growing up, I had a few experiences with paranormal that really piqued my interest in everything paranormal. I don't feel like my childhood home was super active with spirit or with ghosts. I remember a few things happening in my childhood home that really scared me and piqued my interest in all things paranormal. About this time, I got really into reading books about the paranormal and watching television shows about the paranormal. I also really liked to read anything that was like kind of sci-fi or spooky or scary. I loved to read Stephen King novels when I was about in 5th or 6th grade. So that kind of all just started. As a kid, I can remember always being deathly afraid of the dark. I can only remember a few things that were paranormal related. One of the things I remember in my childhood home was that I would hear things and sense things in my room. I would hear something moving around or hear something like open a drawer or something like that, and I would get really, really scared. I was so scared though, I wouldn't look. I would hide my head under the blanket, and I definitely didn't dare to get up and like turn on the light and see if there was something going on, or look from underneath my blanket to see what it was, because I was deathly afraid. When that would happen though, a lot of times I would feel on the foot of my bed like someone was sitting there. And so like next to my feet, like sitting on my bed, like you could feel the weight on the bed, and it felt like somebody was sitting there, or like the weight, the blanket would kind of tighten down on my feet and the bed would lower down just a little bit. And I remember the first time that happened, I looked because I thought it was my mom or my sister, and nobody was there. So after that happened a few more times after that, but I never would look again. So that happened about two to four times when I was living in that house. Later on, as an adult, when I went and stayed with my mom in the same bedroom, I had my daughter with me. She was about 3 or 4 at the time, and we went to spend the night with my mom, and I slept in my same room where I slept as a kid. She still lives in that same house. And I was laying there, and my daughter had already fallen asleep, but she was kind of far away from me, like closer to the wall, and I was closer to the other side. And I felt someone grab the top of my head, and the bed that we were sleeping in was one of those like old-timey like cast iron beds. So there was like holes in the headboard, you know what I mean, between the bars, so somebody could stick their hand through there. And so I was sleeping there, and I just felt somebody like grab the top of my head. Well, I immediately thought that it was my daughter. And so I looked over, but she was so far away from me in the bed, and her arms were like facing the other direction, that there was no way that she could have touched me. And so that really freaked me out, and I don't think that I have spent the night at my mother's house since then. So that's kind of the stuff that went on at my childhood home. Now, moving on, there are some other things that have happened here and there. Like, I can't really remember everything. Like, when I start talking about things, I start remembering more and more. So I'll tell you a little bit about this other house that I lived in after I got married, and my husband and I got a house together. When we moved into this house, I was pregnant with my daughter. We didn't know at the time when we moved in there, but the lady who had lived there before had died in the home. It was an elderly woman. She had lived there for a long time, and she had, not that long ago passed away. We didn't find that out until later on. We started getting mail in our mailbox for this woman, it had her name on it, and we didn't know who it was for, and so we thought it was maybe like a past tenant who had lived there, because we were just renting this place. And so I called the landlord and I said, I'm getting this mail for this person, like what should I do with it? And then that's when she told me, that is the lady who lived there before. She owned that house. We bought the house from them, and she's passed away in the home. And so if you get any mail for her, just bring it to us so we can give it to her son. So that's when we figured that out. And by that time, things had already been going on in the house, and so I was kind of like, that explains a lot. But I'll tell you kind of what happened in that house. Several things happened in that house. The first thing was the master bedroom where me and my husband slept together had 2 closets. So it was like a long wall, and there was like a closet here, and it had 2 double doors that opened this way, and then next to it was a closet with 2 double doors that opened this way. Well, the one that was farther away was my closet, and the one that was closer to the bed was his closet. So our bed was here, and then he had like a side table, and then the wall was right there with the 2 double doors. Okay, so when we moved in there, the closet light in his closet, the closet light never worked. You couldn't get it to turn on. Even if you put a light bulb in it, there was not even a switch to turn it on. Like, we didn't know how to turn it on. The closet where the closet next to it had like a pull string, and so you'd pull the string and the light would come on. But the pull string wasn't there. It was missing. It was gone. So you couldn't turn the light on or off. It was always off. Even we tried to put a light bulb in it. We tried to figure out how we could get it on when we first moved in, and we never were able to get it on. So forget it. I have always had a thing, like I said, in my childhood home about keeping the doors closed when I'm sleeping. So like, I want all the doors closed when I'm sleeping. I don't know why. I just don't like doors to be open when I'm sleeping. So I made it a point to go around and close all the doors. I had both the closets closed, and I woke up one night and his closet door was open and the light was on. So of course I woke up, in a complete state of panic and freaking out, because I knew that we couldn't get those lights turned on. So I woke him up and said, "Did you open the door and turn that light on?" And he said no. So I closed the closet door, unscrewed the light bulb. Pretty sure I took the light bulb completely out, and then closed the closet doors. Fast forward, 4 or 5 months later, same thing happens again. Now the first time I was kind of, I was mad at my husband because I thought he is doing this to try to scare me or try to mess with me. And so I was really, I wasn't happy with him at all. I thought he did that for sure. And fast forward 4 or 5 months, and the same thing happened again. Closet door open, light bulb in the socket, turned on. So I woke him up again, and this time I was irate because I knew that he had done that. And he knew how bad that it freaked me out the first time, and I couldn't believe that he would dare do that to me again. And he swore up and down that he did not do it. So till this day, I believed him that he didn't do it, and till this day, that has always been a mystery, how that closet got opened and how the light got turned on. So that was one of the things in that house. The next thing was in that same house, I would stay up late. My daughter was really little, and so it was hard for me to get anything done when she was up and awake. So I would stay up late at night to edit pictures for my clients in the living room. I would take my laptop and sit on the couch, and she would be asleep in her bedroom, and everybody would be asleep. So I was editing pictures one night, and I was sitting on the couch. And we had 2 couches in the living room. There was like one over here and then one over here. And I sat right here and was like watching the TV in front of me, and this couch over here had a bunch of we had gotten some packages in the mail, and there were some empty boxes sitting on that couch. Well, I heard a loud noise. It sounded like someone hit one of the empty cardboard boxes. I just kind of brushed it off. I didn't really look over there. I didn't really think about it. And then I just kept doing what I was doing. And the next thing I know, I hear the same noise, but this time the cardboard box flew off the couch into the floor. So at that moment, I was done editing pictures, I took my laptop and went in my bedroom and went and laid down next to my husband and went to bed. That was really scary and spooky. Same spot in the house. We're all in the little dining room area, and that couch was like right here. We're in the dining room area, me, my husband, my stepdaughter, and myself. And we are eating, and I had gone to one of those paint places, like you paint and you like drink wine while you paint, and it was for someone's bachelorette party. And so I had gone with some friends to do that, and I had painted a picture, and it was around Christmas time, and so this picture had like a poinsettia or something, and I had hung it on the wall right above that couch just for Christmas time, because we had just put out our Christmas tree and, you know, all that stuff. So I thought, oh, my little poinsettia, and I hung it on the wall, and we were all sitting there, and the picture like kind of lifted up and went down onto the couch. So I guess she didn't like that picture. The other thing that would happen in that house was my daughter, she would sit up. She was a baby, you know, between 1 and 2, and she would sit up. We co-slept. She would sleep with me, and she would sit up in the bed and just start talking and laughing, and it was just gibberish. It was just baby gibberish, but she was talking and laughing and giggling and pointing, and that would really, really creep me out. And I would always just be like, go to sleep, baby, like, what's going on? So that was something that really freaked me out. And the last thing that happened in that house was my husband would always wake up before me because he had to be to work a lot earlier. And so he grabbed my foot, and like, he would grab my foot and shake it and say, Kelly, wake up, you know, because I hate getting up in the mornings and it's really hard to wake me up. So he would wake me up. So he would grab my foot and say, it's time to get up. Say my name and say, it's time to get up. One morning, well, it was about 3 in the morning, of course, right? And I was asleep, and I felt somebody grab my foot, and I heard them say, Kelly, it's time to get up. And I thought it was my husband, and so I was just in a sleepy daze. I didn't even like look right next to me or anything, and I got up and I went straight to the restroom to use the bathroom, and I was still, you know, my eyes weren't fully open, and I started looking around, and like I didn't hear anybody else up. Like I didn't hear my stepdaughter up getting ready. I didn't hear him, or he didn't come in there. You know, normally he would come in and like talk to me while I was in the bathroom or something, or I would hear him doing something, but I didn't hear anything, and I was like, that's weird. So like, where did he go? So I went back into the bedroom, and he was laying there just asleep. And so I looked at the time, and it wasn't time to get up yet. It was only about 3 o'clock. And of course I jumped back in the bed and hid my feet under the blanket and went back to sleep. So there you have it. Those are some of the paranormal experiences that have happened to me in life. If you want to share some of your ghost stories below, I would love to hear them. I love ghost stories. If you like this video and you would like to see more like it, please hit the post bell notification down below, like and subscribe. Love and light, and happy soul searching.